Now I believe we are back and ready to do this again, so hopefully they kind of remember where they went for the bans. I mean, at worst comes to worst, I mean, they didn't play a game, so they don't know the answer if those bans were correct or not, so I'm assuming they're just gonna do it just like they did before. If not, I mean, you know, the game wasn't played, so they can do whatever they want.
Of course, we also have a VOD of it, so they can just check at any time as well. So not a big deal as well on that side.
And with the speediness that they're doing these picks, I believe they're doing exactly the same thing. If I'm remembering correctly, it is exactly right, and the Rays scooping it up. So yeah, if these guys are being honest, and even if they want to switch it up, it doesn't matter. The game was not played, so nothing would have changed their opinions about stuff. But now I hope they don't have a black screen on their end, because we're able to see everything on our end. So now it's time for our final Shirokky versus Thunderlazy, Volerin and Sapphire versus Volerin and the Tuvine.
Very, very similar openings. Of course, the only difference is in the attack type Tems, right? Obviously, Shirokky has a Sapphire instead of a Tuvine and vice versa as their attack-based Tems, and I believe both of them are running anaerobic. So I wouldn't be surprised if both of them attempted to trade just a bit of decent damage between the Tuvine and the Sapphire, as both Tems, of course, have decent defenses, decent attacks as well. Obviously, the difference here is Thunderlazy can actually punish the Sapphire, while Shirokky cannot really punish the Tuvine.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the best he could do is like a toxic ink onto the Tuvine, 2 ticks of poison, but not trying to eat a crystal plume, trying to switch out to the pig. So there we go, toxic ink onto the Tuvine. But just like you said, Blue, the noxious bomb is going to be pressuring the Sapphire there, so 54%. So it's going to take a little bit more than just that noxious bomb. Alright, so doubling up, so not even going after the Volerin. Trying to take care of the Sapphire, so definitely one more noxious bomb will be taking care of the Sapphire. So it probably does, you know, Nicho Sai is active, but it maybe doesn't want to trade, as Nicho Sai with the high defense and the Tuvine might not be enough to kill it.
Exactly. At this point in time, the Sapphire will most likely be swapped out. Here, the Pig Epic, of course, could bamboozle, but there is a lot of inherent risk currently at the moment for the side of Shirokky.
So Tuvine switching out, trying to control the speed here, so Rays will be switching out. I think we got the same play. Oh, the Nicho Sai, so staying in. Do we got the noxious bomb though on the Sapphire? You know, maybe he was thinking it was a 1-for-1 trade, but nope, his actual thought was he's just gonna put the bird to sleep, so no noxious bomb for Thunderlazy. So well done, well understanding of speeds there for Shirokky. So Hypnosis on a cooldown, so obviously you can't just spam Hypnosis, that would be absolutely busted. But Sapphire is here. You do got something like an Ice Shuriken, Ice Stalactite that could pressure the Rays, but I have a feeling something like a simple Embers might be enough for the Sapphire. Maybe not totally enough. But Sapphire's done his job. I think we're going to be seeing him pulled out. I think we're going to get potentially a turbo play from the Pig and the Volerin.
Most likely. Most likely here will... The Sapphire he does get the opportunity to talk again, the Rise, if he really wanted to. The moment the Volerin being asleep sort of makes that a bit difficult. Tuvine comes back in actually into the Sapphire, and the Rise will be moved. So I'm not I mean, the Sapphire is technically safe, but I'm sure this is most likely going to be a swap out, as you mentioned, for the Sapphire, and there it goes. Currently the Pig Epic just gonna be idle here as Volerin comes back in for Shirokky this time.
Yeah, we do get the turbo that we just mentioned, so just try and get the +2 on the Pig, +2 on the Volerin, so good setup turn there. And it was a completely free setup turn as Thunderlazy decided to go with a double switch. So now we're in a little bit of a danger. The Tuvine definitely pressures this Volerin. +2 speed for the Voldren, so it hasn't started setting up its defenses there, but Calibus isn't going to be doing a whole lot. Of course, I mean, +2 speed, Voldren does run Hyperkinetic Strike. It could be looking at the Calibus to try to do a good chunk of damage. Not as much as an Aerobic would do, but still, you know, it hasn't lowered its special attack yet. So Calibus, feeling the pressure, will be switched out for the Raise, but even a Hyperkinetic Strike to Raise should be good. We'll see what he decides to do though. But going down to 1, so just a +1 Hyperkinetic Strike. Okay, around 44%, but Hypnosis onto the 2-Vine. Alright, no energy drink there. 2-Vine will be resting for 2 turns.
Asleep. 2-Vine means that this Rise is a bit exposed. Obviously, Shirokky can't really punish too much. Actually, no. The Voldren does a bit of damage. It's going to be interesting. The Thunderlazy overall currently has definitely in a much better position in terms of what he can do. The Psypat, of course, being very low, minus the speed. It's just surprising that there's very little damage that's been occurred at the moment for either side.
Yeah, I mean, the Noxious Bomb still applies a good amount of damage to the Raise, so I wouldn't be surprised if that play. I think it's going to be the Pig that will be pulling out here. I mean, he could... Oh, it's going to be the Voldren. Okay, so Voldren out for the Raise. What is the Pig doing here? Do we get a double swap? No, we don't. Oh, yes, we do. Okay, so double swap. I thought the Pig was coming out too, so it was the Pig... Or sorry, it was the Pig and the Voldren, so double swap.
Tornado going to land on the Ukama. Of course, Ukama will not be too bothered by it. And Thunderlazy's 2-Vine was asleep the entire time, so it can't do anything.
Yeah, so a really good play for Shirokky. Understand, you know, by the time the 2-Vine wakes up, you got a completely new set of danger to deal with. The Aquatic Whirlwind and the Ukama, the Embers in the Rise there definitely will be enough to handle the 2-Vine. So yeah, the 2-Vine can finally do something, but is it going to stay on the board? So 2-Vine feeling that pressure, will be replaced by the Voldren. And both rides are coming out, so yeah, just playing the game of controlling the speeds, just in and out, the more demoralized you can get. And of course, the Aquatic Whirlwind was putting way too much pressure on that, but decides to go for the Voldren instead. Oh, for the 2-Vine, that was what the play was. So yeah, right. Decides to go for the 2-Vine. Of course, we called it a little earlier. But yeah, Thunderlazy still doing a good job protecting his Temtems.
Thunderlazy has to output his own damage soon, though. I mean, the most he's done is tickle the Ukama, so there's still this lack of actual output. Like currently, in like technical terms, like I guess Thunderlazy is sort of this brick wall, but this brick wall has to do some damage because or he will go down to a death of 1,000 cut Shirokky, just winning the damage output. And there he goes. Poison actually gonna start punishing the Pig Epic a little bit, but yeah, still.
So going after the Pig there, the Toxic ain't doing a good job. I mean, one more of those should be enough. So I'm curious here if we're gonna see another Turbo, or is the Pig feeling a little bit too pressured and wants to pull out? I mean, of course, he could bamboozle himself, try to keep himself protected from one of those attacks. But yeah, Shirokky's Voldren still at 100%. Little by little is going to still tick away at the Voldren. I don't think he's too scared of the Calibus, which is why he's directing all his attention to the Voldren there. Assuming we get the race, so one more time, the Demoralize kicking in. Maybe we get the Feather Gatling onto the Raise. And yeah, not necessarily the best switching, but Hypnosis on the Calibus, so there will be no Toxic Ink, no Strangle. Now, why bamboozle when you can just put him to sleep for 2 turns, this turn and the following turn?
The Rise now extremely low. Thunderlazy is most likely gonna swap that out. I think a Noxious Bomb should take it out. The Pig Epic as well. I think Toxic Ink, I believe, didn't do enough damage, but the Calibus is infected sleep, so Pig should be safe. Another Turbo Choreograph, I wouldn't be surprised to see as well.
Yeah, it might be a free play. He has enough stamina to do so, so that wouldn't be the worst play. Try to redeem some of the speed that was taken away from the Rise. Unless he's staying on, I mean, just like you said, Blue, I do think a Noxious Bomb should be enough for the Raise. Even the Feather Gatling, I think it did about half of the HP pool that it had remaining. So even that Feather Gatling, maybe that's the play just in case the bird comes back out. So Raise in, it's going to be the Pig, so maybe the Noxious Bomb is definitely better as Wind is going to be resistant. But just like you said, Blue, it was a perfect setup turn, so Turbo.
For Noxious, obviously that was supposed to be directed to the Rise, but Rise left, and Pig Epic will be eating that kindly. I don't think Shirokky really minds there. Obviously Thunderlazy now also has a weak 10 in his back pocket. Sypat and Rise both low and not gonna be doing very well in the downturn. Shirokky, of course, has a faster Bullerman. And the thing about anaerobic is obviously the hyperkinetic doesn't do as much, but with the speed up, you can compensate for the lost special attack.
Yeah, naturally the hyperkinetic's not always going to be doing a lot on those anaerobic birds, but with the +2 speed that Shirokky has, is definitely going to be doing a little bit more than Thunderlazy's hyperkinetic. So we'll see that a little bit down the road. But yeah, still pretty even here. Say Shirokky has a little bit of the advantage. But we'll see. Now the Pig for Thunderlazy is out, so we might be seeing some hypnosis action on his side. Noxious Bomb maybe on the Pig, probably more than likely on the Pig. Just trying to little by little, you know, Thunderlazy had no Kinu, so there's no such thing as a Revitalize.
Toxic Ink though, gonna do some damage onto the Rise. Of course, more damage as it's poison rather than the actual direct hit. But still, it's in a situation where neither player has lost any attempts. This may seem slow, but it's just simply because neither player has a sweeper. I mean, if you look at both their teams, their Volarens are tanks. Tuvine isn't a sweeper, Sypat isn't a sweeper, definitely not now that he's low, and there's not really like this oomph Tem right on their team. There's no Tem that just suddenly goes oof, I'm dead now. It's more like slowly chip away one mistake.
Well said, Blue, well said. So we don't see the normal Velashes, we don't see the normal Kialises, but probably because they were banned. Tuvine is somewhat of a sweeper, but you know, it doesn't have that longevity like Velash. But Tuvine is definitely a hard-hitting Tem. It's probably one of the better ways to try to deal with the anaerobic birds. But Sypat's there trying to answer the Tuvine with that Nicho Sai as well.
Absolutely. I think Tuvine is obviously an answer to these anaerobic Volarens because it does not require setup. It's not squishy either. And that's why it's so good against these anaerobic Volarens. But of course, that also leaves you susceptible to Glass Cannon squads. That's, of course, that is basically up to positioning, and obviously both these players have to play the positioning game as Sypat comes back in. Remember, it's low, but Matt may have perhaps predicted that the Sypat will be getting a free entry, but Turbo Choreograph will stabilize for Thunderlazy. Ember's gonna land on the Pig Epic, and I doubt a Toxic Ink will be able to pummel through. I think Toxic Ink was the objective here for Shirokky, but now that the Volaren is in, and it's faster than a Sypat, I'm not quite sure if that's a good idea anymore.
Yeah, that would have been an excellent play if the Volarant didn't come out to play. But yeah, Toxic Ink would have most likely killed the Pig with just those poison ticks alone. Hopefully he didn't eat the Fainted Curse, but even if he did, the Sypat was low anyways. But yeah, the bird with that turbo is now definitely faster than a -1 speed Sypat, so the Noxious Bomb will be going first, so Sypat will be dead, so we might be seeing a switch out. But who do we go? I mean, the only viable one will be the Pig. but it's getting dangerously low too. Is it gonna be enough though as a Fainted Curse? I don't think it is. 3.9%.
Yeah, but not close enough. Unfortunately, the Hypnosis will come out though. I'm not sure if this was... Yeah, I believe he wanted to eliminate the Pig Epic and also deal with the Rise. But of course, neither Tem goes down. So the Rise Pig will still be here. Toxic Plume will not be enough. And obviously, Thunderlazy probably doesn't want to lose the Volorant to a well, a blast of damage from the Pig Epic. To just follow it up.
So let's take a look. We might be seeing another turbo play as the last thing for the Pig to do. Maybe Thunderlazy just wants to, you know, maybe just eat a Fainted Curse. It wouldn't be the best. I mean, the Volorant is somewhat of their carries right now. But maybe the Pig for Pig might be an even trade. We'll find out. These players have definitely some decisions to make here. Well, Raze is coming out. If we get the Volorant here, maybe we will get the turbo play. +4, just trying to set it up, trying to not have the Raze do too much. But Tornado, I did call it Pig for Pig. I guess that was the play Thunderlazy wanted to do. Pig for Pig, no more Pig action there. And I think he wanted a Tornado before the turbo. So I think Shirokky was thinking, you know, you get a turbo before going down. But that 3 prio Tornado ruining the chances. So not too bad of a play there. Probably the best line of play Thunderlazy could have done. Absolutely.
Currently, both Volorants. Well, actually, no. Technically, fortunately, Shirokky's side, Volorant's stamina is quite low, but for Thunderlazy, is of course still raring to go at 92.5%.
But
so
that's not real, right? The 2%, because it just came out. It was on the back pocket for a little bit. Oh, it just came out,
right? Absolutely. So
it has to be a little bug.
More than that. Yeah, yeah. It has to be, definitely it has to be a visual bug. But we'll see if this will come out. It looks like the Rise will come out first, so only the Volorant will be affected by that speed slow. I mean, 2-Vine comes out, so Determined would have negated it regardless. But still, now both players running with 4 Tems each. But this Rise, of course, will probably pop the 2-Vine with Fire Tornado if it has access to it. So Thunderlazy has to be careful.
Yeah, and I don't think there's a set of moves. Maybe a Noxious Bomb, maybe a Feather Gatling from the 2-Vine. Maybe is enough to take 60% of Raze there, but I don't think it will be. Raze is quite the tanky boy. So yeah, he has to be pretty careful. I'm pretty sure a Fire Tornado would be doing enough. Or taking it pretty close. That a double up on the 2-Vine should definitely be enough. But based off previous moves from Shirokky, it looks like he did want to focus down the Volorant, so I wouldn't be surprised if he throws his moves there, but instead wants to play it safe, switch out. Side pad is here. We'll see if there was any moves directed into the side pad, because the side pad was super low right now.
Rise comes back out here. The 2-Vine is staying in. I'm surprised about that, because again, Fire Tornado. No, actually, never mind. It's actually gonna leave. Calibus will be replacing it. So there will be no 2-Vine shenanigans that will be punishing anything. Fire Tornado will be hitting practically nothing here, as Calibus will eat that fairly nicely. But now, Sapphire and Rise are on the field for the side of Shirokky, and it's not like you can swap in Sapphire for anything very good. I mean, Volorant, I guess, but now the Rise slowed down as well. I mean, this Sapphire is getting slower and slower, currently at -2 speed. Even Ninja Jutsu will not compensate at this point. For some moves.
Yeah, I mean, if he keeps Saipad in there, I'm pretty sure if the Rise stays, he should kill with something like a Nicho, but maybe you don't want to waste that Nicho side just yet and save it for the 2-Vine. That's part of the main way to get rid of it, but Nicho side onto the Raze, no switching out, so just trying to do that damage. The Raze is gone, no more demoralized for the side of Thunderlazy.
Gets rid of it fairly easily. Roar as well, just to reduce some attack for the Calibus, but the Calibus will still kill the Saipad here, although the Saipad would have lost the poison either way. Calibus will take that kill very nicely, but now, of course, these 1-for-1 trades. Again, both these players just trading 1-for-1 on their Tems, so it will go down the wire. The 2-Vine is still extremely healthy, but that is what the Rise is for. The question is, does the Calibus have a water type move? Only time will tell.
Yeah, and they usually have something like a tsunami, so maybe so, maybe so. However, looking at the team Shirokky has right now in game 1, he doesn't have too many answers to this Calabash. Every move from Yukama, unless the Yukama's running a blizzard, is not going to be doing a whole lot to Calabash. These fire moves is little by little, isn't going to be doing a whole lot. But yeah, the Feather Gatling is the answers there, but it will take at least 3 of those to finish it off. And Noxious Bomb connecting, so more special defense on it, but it does not matter as these embers are physical. So yeah, little by little, and I think the Toxic should be enough. Oh, those 2 ticks, definitely going to be enough. So even if you don't touch the rise for the following turn, it's going to be going down. But I guess the best bet, I mean, Feather Gatling, as I mentioned, there's no true pressure on the Calabash except the Volarant, and it's going to be at least 2 to 3 attacks. I think Feather Gatling is actually doing more at this point than Hypokinetic Strike, so that is the best way to go. But once you go against the bird, okay.
They're trying to punish the Volarant on the opposite side. Of course, with a 4 special defense, you would rather take out the opposing anaerobic Volarant, because then suddenly your opponent doesn't have that tank and it will do so. That burn is guaranteed to take it out. Strangle will shut down the tank Volarant, but a trade, an eye for an eye, a soul for a soul, as the Volarant goes down for the side of Thunderlazy, whilst the Rise goes down for the side of Shirokky. So right now the 2-Vine comes out, but remember, Aquatic Whirlwind is so strong here. Water Cannon as well. The 2-Vine will get punished for simply not having high defenses. And look at that poison
high special defenses. So those 2 ticks of poison are going to be enough, but is it going to be enough? I think another Crystal Plume should be good enough for the Volarant, but remember, Calabash can't do anything from the Strangle last turn, neither can the Volarant. So yeah, an Aquatic Whirlwind cleans up the 2-Vine, and that only leaves the Volarant with a couple more Feather Gatlings to try to clean up the Calabash to see how much it's going to do.
Actually, Hyperkinetics the Calabash to just seal the deal in the following rounds, because Aquatic Whirlwind will eliminate the 2-Vine and is much faster as opposed to. So even if Toxic Ink hits the Okama and kills it, now the Calabash is 1 hit away from being eliminated, and the Okama just tanked it very well because Calabash is -1 attack.
So that Toxic Ink can't be doing enough. It looks like Thunderlazy realizes that one more. It looks like they did. So here we go. Shirokky Thunderlazy game 2. Shirokky up 1 game. Thunderlazy needs to win this, or else we're gonna crown ourselves a new champion. He's not necessarily a new champion, but a new champion, I guess, recently.
Obviously, both players ban Gaialis. Neither wants to deal with that. But Shirokky, I wouldn't be surprised if he tried the same opening, of course. It was a difficult fight until the end, at least. Especially since the Saipat was punished so promptly. Thunderlazy, I wouldn't be surprised if a Calabash was picked here. Actually, Shirokky picks up the mix instead, so a much more stable opening. Won't have to swap in quite early. But Thunderlazy, I'm not sure what he wants to do.
Yeah, maybe he can get a side pad of his own, but it won't pressure until the following turn. Because maybe, you know, something like a Noxious Bomb, get the mix pretty low. No, I wouldn't be a good play. I was thinking like try to get the mix down to, you know, like 50-55% range, and then a Nicho side will clean it up. But of course Shirokky will recognize and switch out. But just thinking. But we'll see what Thunderlazy. Yeah. Okay, opening with the 2-Vine, so really well, you know, pressure both of these Tems with something like a Crystal Plume Gatling.
Yeah, unfortunately, Saipat, if Saipat could learn Cage, that would be really awesome. But the mix would be forced in.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, but unfortunately, on the side of Thunderlazy, only Madrid can learn Cage, I believe, on that roster. Shirokky can't even learn Cage. I know Mix can learn Cage, so technically he can, but I don't think the Mix is running. So.
Or is he?
Or is he?
That's the main thing about Cage. But yeah, noticing 2 things here in our 2 finalists. They both running Saipat, so I haven't been seeing too much Saipat here or there. But of course, such a fantastic Tem. And it looks like he's picking the second ban. So Thunderlazy picked the pig for Shirokky. Let's see if Shirokky wants to return the favor, or is he going to a more damage dealer like Saipat? And it is going to be that damage dealer Saipat. Doesn't want to deal with that Nicho side down the road.
Picks up his own side pad. Shirokky managing to sneak that one out as Pig Epic is removed for the side of Thunderlazy. Now, obviously, Pig Epic is a solid pickup here. I wouldn't be surprised if it was chosen. Previously, the Madrid wasn't picked up, and obviously, you can't really pick up the Madrid while Ukama is still available. But now that Shirokky has to pick his last two before Thunderlazy, technically, he can wait until Shirokky is forced between Rise and Ukama. Because now you can pick up the Madrid here, technically speaking, but Thunderlazy will most likely pick up the Pig. But it is potential for that Madrid. There's nothing really that punishes it super hard. In fact, this is probably the best game you can have Madrid in. Both Crystal and the Earth.
Yeah, and it looks like he agrees with you there, Blue. The Crystal for the mix, the Crystal for the Kinu, and then the Earth for the Rays. So taking care of 3 Tems on the lineup of Shirokky. Shirokky does have that side pat for that melee damage that would definitely insta one-shot that Madrid if a Nicho side does get to connect with it. Alright guys, getting things started for game number 2. Feeling the pressure, Shirokky wins nothing. Oh wait a minute, if a Crystal Plume was going into the bird, it might be in the Kinu, but maybe it's going into the mix?
Yeah, Crystal spikes. Obviously the 2-Vine is not very tanky, so it does trade. But as you mentioned, if there was a double up on the bird, it would have been punished. But in fact, it does arrive. Crystal Plume Gatling. Actually, no, on the mix, forces it into the Puppet Master instantly. Thunderlazy wants none of that. But of course, that means Toxic Plume will kill the mix now. There's actually no way it survives a Toxic Plume, so it has to leave. Shirokky obviously took the risk that Kinu would just eat both attacks, and I think Shirokky would have been better off with that, because now Mix will get destroyed by a Toxic Plume here. There's actually nothing it can do about it unless it leaves.
Yeah, it might leave, because just like what you said from that Toxic Plume, and actually Kinu coming in there saving the mix there. I think it would have been one shot from the Feather Gatling and the Crystal Plume. It was just had about less than 20% to go, so I think that +1 defense definitely kept it live there. So good recognition for Shirokky, switching it out just in time. But yeah, just like you said, Blue, now it's a little susceptible to something like that Toxic Plume. It's a 1-turn hold, so it's definitely live here in turn 2. We'll see if he wants to decide to pull it out. That's what we're most likely going to see. Alright, Mix will be back for a little later. Saipat's here though. Both of these Temtems weak to Toxic. Is that what's going to be eaten here? Okay, Hypnosis. That's a fast Kinu. Will be down for... Kinu... 2-Vine and Volan are pretty slow, so Kinu didn't have to be too fast.
Absolutely. I mean, Thunderlazy actually taking my philosophy there. He could have pointed at the Kinu because obviously Puppet Master would have been active, but instead attacks where the mix would have stood, so punishes whatever swapped in. But not sure if that was a big punish enough, because now Nicho Sai is available, and this 2-Vine will definitely go down if that next. But Saipat is swapped in, maybe expecting the 2-Vine to be forced out because the mix is back. And of course, if this 2-Vine is swapped out, suddenly you cannot punish this Kinu for being here. Calibus swapped in though. And yeah, double swapping for Thunderlazy.
Yeah, so understanding that most likely, you know, Thunderlazy is going to switch out, didn't want nothing to do with the Nicho Sai. Oh, and the Revitalize, well done. So Thunderlazy could have punished the Kinu, or it was a risky play. Either you stayed in, ate the Nicho Sai, most likely died, or if it was gonna be Shirokky switching out and you could punish that Kinu. One Crystal Plume takes it, you know, into that red health more than likely to Kinu. But now, I mean, the Calibus sometimes will run the Tsunami, but at this health, thanks to that Revitalize, Mix is no longer at risk of dying from something like Tsunami.
Well, the question is Fire Tornado faster than Tsunami? Because if Fire Tornado is faster, then the Mix will get doubled up and die. If it's not faster, then Kinu will die. And I either way, I think that Lazy will be happy being a Tem up. Of course, Shirokky putting that Mix above the 40% mark has put it a bunch of danger on top of it. because now the mix is susceptible to damage again, and he may have to swap out, double swap out. I'm not sure what could really eat it. I mean, Volorend, I guess, along with the keen side pad, but no swap outs required. Crystal Spikes comes out on the Calamus, but Catalyst will eat that just fine. Hypnosis is faster though, so Rise will go to sleep, so cannot punish the mix for being here. The Calamus will strangle the Kinu though, and shut it down.
Shutting it down for the next turn, but not too bad. Calibus still full stamina pretty much, so maybe understand the Kinu probably gonna be switched out, so it leaves it one turn. I mean, it leaves it able to do a move for this following turn. So not too bad. And Blue, I gotta double check. Is it 40% or is it 45%?
I believe Puppet Master is. We'll check right now. In fact, I'll check right now. I believe it is 40%. It is 40%. It has to be below 40%. Okay. All attacks are redirected. I believe that was a voluntary choice by Thunderlazy to strangle the Kinu rather than the mix.
Thank you, Boo. Thank you. Just want to make sure. Alright, so the Rays will be switching out for the Bird here. And same with the mix. So, wait a minute. Is the Kinu staying in and try to keep the Calibus strangle?
Yeah, it looks like it will. I mean, perhaps Shirokky was assuming that the Calibus were going to swap out. Actually, queued up Turbo Choreograph. So, if the Calibus was swapped out, Thunderlazy would have been punished there by the Kinu using Turbo. But of course, now Strangle released. Shirokky has the upper hand now with his Tem still relatively okay for the moment at least.
Alright, Feather Gatling in, just like he did in game 1, wants to try to focus down the Volorant before the Calibus, so both Feather Gatlings are trading. Alright, it looks like Shirokky has a little bit more attack as it did a slightly more, unless there's a little less defense on Thunderlazy's end, but pretty much identical, you know, 72.8 compared to 73.7. But you know, those small percentages might make a difference here.
What also might make a difference here is the fact that Shirokky's Kinu is so fast. The Hypnosis, even at -1 speed, it gets Hypnosis off a Calibus. I mean, I don't think that's Kinu being fast. I think that's Calibus being really slow. As the Calibus just wasn't fast enough. Now Turbo Choreograph gonna compensate for that lost speed, and now is even faster. Hypnosis of being available, of course, will be very strong. Feather Gatling again just gonna be trading back and forth here between both Volorends, but definitely Thunderlazy is losing this deal as Kinu is running out of stamina, but it could overexert for Hypnosis again.
Very true. And I think it got back, so yeah, +1 speed, so it's probably gonna be the fastest thing right now compared to Mudrid. Of course, does Vortex, is 3 prio, but it's not gonna be doing a whole lot of damage. I mean, maybe on the Volorant, but the Volorant actually no setting up yet. I'm quite impressed. It's just Feather Gatling, so these anaerobic Volorants aren't gonna get any extra buffs from that. But maybe it's a strategic way to keep that hyperkinetic strike still at full power. And now comes the side pass. So how do you deal with a Mudrid? You try to apply some melee pressure, but Volorant gonna be trying to match the speed of Shirokky's Volorant. And Revise, man, I've never seen a Kinu stay in for so many turns.
Absolutely, especially with a lot of oncoming threats. Shirokky is fearless with his Kinu, understands that I will win the sustain war if I just last long enough. And in fact, now the Kinu being overexerted, it will be saved up for a later date. And this Madrid cannot stay here because Saipat will Nicho Sai it to death. There's actually nothing Madrid can do in this situation. And Volorant, same situation. If it gets Nicho Sai'd, it will get punished severely as Rise comes out, slows down the Kinu just for future reference, but it will get swapped out.
Yeah, I did overexert last turn, so it's most likely the best play. Kinu finally coming out. Rise is going to be joining the party. Where's this Nicho Sai headed? Volorant didn't want anything to do with it. It might be going to Calibus to be safe, but if it wanted to kill the Mudrid, Raze is going to be eating that attack. Let's find out. Okay, it was directed towards the bird, so Calibus is going to be eating that damage. Eats it pretty well. you know, it is a Nicho side, so it does hit super strong. So that's probably the best Tem that could eat it right now.
Toxic King could apply on Saipat, but also Valorant could swap in there. So we might see a double up from Thunderlazy on that position, maybe a Fire Tornado on top of a Toxic Ink, just so that no matter what is swapped in, it will get punished regardless. The Rise can't really do much on the side of Shirokky to prevent this, aside from burning the Calibus. Again, Calibus being really slow is extremely painful, but aside from that, nothing else major, really.
So Rise can be switching out. Hopefully there wasn't a Toxic directed into that slot. I mean, Toxic is probably better against the Saipat, but gonna get a buff off before there. So out comes the mix one more time. So maybe a Toxic into the mix, down into the Puppet Master range it goes.
Embers though gonna punish his Kinu, although it does have stamina now, so I wouldn't be surprised if it decided to revitalize the mix, and then the mix would just take the poison damage and then be back in the Puppet Master range. Again, Thunderlazy, he doesn't have a Kinu, as we mentioned, right? So he will lose this war of sustain. This Kinu is getting ridiculously valuable, and Thunderlazy has yet to punish it, and Shirokky is abusing it extremely well in every turn that's been oncoming. And yes, it may not have full stamina, but still, it is quite valuable. I believe it currently has around 43%, so still such a strong temp, especially when your opponent doesn't have access to regeneration or anything like that.
Yeah, definitely. I can't say Kinu's safe here. Of course, if it stayed in to try to do something like that, it would have to maybe overexert and then eat Embers and a Toxic Ink. But wait a minute, maybe the Toxic Ink is going to go into Saipat instead. Saipat's not looking safe either, but Tsunami is going to take it into that 12.5% range. Oh,
yes, it will.
So Mix is out of here.
Mix, the main damage dealer for the side of Shirokky, now gone. Now we'll have to rely on Saipat and the Valorant to basically deal some damage and tank it up. Of course, his Valorant much healthier than the side of Thunderlazy's, but that doesn't really matter, especially if now Thunderlazy still has a 2-Vine, and he still has the Calibus. Calibus, I don't think can survive a Feather Gatling, so the swap out might be coming. But the Rise, the Madrid, I mean, there's still a lot of damage from the side of Thunderlazy. The only question will be, how does he deal with Saipat here carefully? Because potentially the Valorant could take it out, and the Saipat being a bit tankier than usual could just eat a little bit of the damage of what Thunderlazy can dish out.
Yeah, I mean, the Volner is going to go fast. I mean, he has Hyper Connect Strike active. +2 speed is going to be more than enough to take care of the Calibus. So no Toxic Ink danger for the Saipat. He's just worried about something like an Embers, which Saipat should definitely be fine from. I mean, maybe we get a Roars. Maybe we get a King's Roar. Saipat's a physical base. Temtem, same with the anaerobic. So it wouldn't be the worst place for the Rays to do. I'm just curious to see where the Calibus is going to go, and it decides to stay in. Hypokinetic going to be enough to take care, so I definitely thought we'll get a switch out, but maybe Thunderlazy thought the same thing.
Fire Tornado going to punish the Valorant for being in, but not enough to compensate. The Saipat just relaxes. He's like, I'm not chill. I'm not get stamina back. The Calibus being dead means that once this Valorant comes out, Nicho side will kill it. There's no way it survives this being at 45%. A double up will punish it, and the Rise can maybe potentially Embers and Feather Gatling with the opposing Valorant, but right now Thunderlazy is slower. So it's just a tough situation to be in for Thunderlazy. I'm not sure how he wants to play this right now.
Yeah, this is absolutely free Nicho Sai onto the Valorant. Anything he switches out, the Madrid, the 2-Vine is gonna eat that crazy amount of damage to the face. 2-Vine, oh, but Saipat, okay, being switched out. Maybe the Noxious Bomb. He was feeling a little Noxious Bomb pressure. I'm not too sure. I swear, you know, a Feather Gatling and a Nicho Sai into that slot was a decent play, but keeping it a little bit more safe.
Swaps in the Madrid here. Madrid very good against Fire Temps. Takes neutral damage from the Feather Gatling. Will come out here. We'll see if the trade will come out. And yes, it did. Noxious Bomb will come out. So read correctly by Shirokky. Shirokky making sure that the Saipat survives, and now surely the Volren cannot deal with Shirokky's Volren faster. Not only that, but now is in death range from another Feather Gatling. The Madrid exists though, so Dust Vortex, Crystal Bite, they're all available, and they can all kill this Volren.
Yeah, but even with the Noxious Bomb pressuring the Saipat, Nicho size 3 Prio would have definitely gone off before the Volren got off, and I think it would have done enough to, you know, it does definitely more than 20% damage.
Well, the thing is that the Saipat is -1 speed, and the Volren for the side of Thunderlazy is +1 speed. So his thought process was, oh, I'm definitely gonna go last, or definitely gonna be, I'm definitely gonna not get Nicho Sai off early enough. And so deciding not to risk it, slows down the Volren instead for future usage using the Rise, and keeps Saipat in the safest position in the game.
Yeah, I can see it then. I can see it. Just keep it safe. Madrid came out, so now we get the 2 vines, so 2 crystal Tems. To see if we finally get to see the move. I've been waiting for it. So Raze is gonna be switching out for the Kinu. Are we gonna see the Dust Vortex?
We'll absolutely see. Trying to raise the defenses of this Volren, but again, Crystal Dust actually going to be used to try and take out the Volren. Actually, no, on the Kinu. Kinu will survive though, because that's not enough. Feather Gatling will come out, deal some decent damage on 2 vine, but defenses are so high, will be fine. But I'm surprised Volren is still not dealt with by Thunderlazy. Thunderlazy right now, currently, has had many opportunities to deal with it, but has, I would say, refused to at this point.
Yeah, maybe perhaps anticipating a switch into a Rise or something like that. I'm not too sure why, but he definitely has some logic to his plays. Yeah, but Madrid is here, so Kinu's not safe. And it looks like neither opponent, well, I apologize. Thunderlazy did start setting up a little bit with that special defense 1-up. But yeah, Shirokky just using the protector buff from the Kinu to increase those defenses for the bird. But Kinu gets replaced for the Raze.
Speed down again by Madrid, just slowly chipping away at its life points. Crystal Dust gonna do some decent damage, but Hyperkinetic Strike gonna punish the 2 vine. 2 vine does take half damage, but still quite a bit. The Volren, I believe, is gonna be sacked here for the side of Shirokky. Says it's done its job, will be eliminated, but I'm not sure if that was a good victory for the side of Thunderlazy. He still has a lot of problems, especially with the Saipat now out. How does he deal with this Fire Tem with the Saipat? Because if Madrid goes down, Rise has no problems.
Yeah, Fire Tornado should be live for the Raze, so a Nicho Sai on the Madrid. Madrid is +1 speed, but I don't think any move will kill the Saipat before the Saipat gets off the Nicho Sai. And what does he have in the back? I mean, a Nicho Sai into the Raze is going to be doing a good amount if that's the best pick. I mean, Volren, as we mentioned before, probably gets eaten alive. Not eaten alive, gets destroyed by the Nicho Sai as well, being in that red health. So Raze might be the best line of play for that Madrid to switch into. But then it leaves that 2 vine exposed, so Madrid coming out. It will be the Raze. That was his best play. The only one that wasn't going to get one shot from the Nicho. And Tornado just trying to do a good amount of damage. And yeah, good read for Thunderlazy, understanding that the Madrid was so pressured, but the Fire Tornado is ready to clean up 2 vine. So 2 vine overstayed his welcome. We'll be going back to the temp card. And now it's just final 3 Temtems to go for Thunderlazy as well as Shirokky. We'll take a look at the battle log as it stands. Once we're able to, of course.
Madrid comes back. Now, of course, the Saipat at 36% is susceptible to again a Crystal Bite, but if Crystal Bite is used on Madrid, then suddenly Saipat has no issues. Saipat also takes half damage from a lot of Earth types. So again, the Saipat is so hard to deal with. Volren could have been swapped in, but you also can't really risk that with Embers and Fire Tornado still available, or at least Embers is available. Kino comes in, just raising the defense of the Saipat. The Saipat is the hero of the match here.
And finally we see that does Vortex. It was half damage, but will be enough for the Kino. So Kino doing a little bit of his job. Ice Shuriken connecting, so another one of those. It might actually take two of those, but now Nicho Sai is ready to go. So the Mudrid or whatever switches into it, it's gonna get that value off the Nicho Sai. But he has to be careful. I don't think Raise with the Embers kills the Saipat. But it might actually, because Saipat's looking like he has to overexert for that Nicho Sai. Alright, so the Volerin is gonna be switched in.
Yep. Right now, the Volerin will stay alive, and so will the Rise, but he's frozen solid, so it doesn't even matter. The Embers on the Volerin will kill it, as the burn damage is exactly 6%. The Nicho Sai still available, and the Rise being alive is actually quite massive, because that means he has to exert at least a bit more force to deal with it. But Nicho Sai does kill Madrid in a single hit. Remember, Thunderlazy, he has to win this fight. Somehow, Saipat, some way, he has to kill it. He is not in fact faster on the Rise, so Nicho Sai is still available, but it might overexert, but that might be enough. That is such a problem. Thunderlazy might just try and one-shot the Rise, and then fingers crossed the Rise on his side kills Saipat. It's such a hard choice, because if Madrid dies, then suddenly it's over, because you have a Rise and a Saipat to deal with.
Yeah, Shirokky has to bank that Saipat, despite being 2 speed down, the Nicho Sai is definitely going to go before the Mudrid. So we'll find out how it goes down. But yeah, if the Saipat Nicho Sai goes before the Mudrid, Mudrid is definitely going to get one shot. Mud Showers though onto the Rays, not going to be doing enough. So Nicho Sai will be hitting the Mudrid. Goodbye the Mudrid. 4x damage is way too much to handle. 0% it is, and then whatever the Raise does will be enough to handle. 0.5% left, so a simple Embers will be it for the side of Shirokky. And guys, we got ourselves the champion for the weekly tournament number.